never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now's the future.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of the Weekly Review. My name is Mike Larkin, and joining me tonight are my boys, the dead man of RWT, Mr. Paul Morales, and DC himself, Daniel Crimmins. Gentlemen, I will start this off by saying I am awake, happy to be awake.
For once.
Here we are, thanks. And here we are for tonight's edition of the Weekly Review, as I put my hat down. Yes, I know that was all me, yay. Oh, boy. I could say it was great to wake up for this one because it has been a lot of news this week. We're going to be touching base upon Backlash, the zaniness that happened this week where people
This
are
is
going.
what happens when you sleep.
I know, man. A lot of stuff does happen. And speaking
Man, I know, right? A lot of stuff does happen when you're awake.
So we'll start with this first, you sons of bitches. The Velveteen Dream has gone crazy. So former WWE NXT superstar Velveteen Dream is itching to make a return to the company in a big way. Here is some of the things that he posted in his Instagram story. A lot of you owe me an apology for dragging me through the mud. Knowing 5 years later, here I stand still free and without a single charge. But I get it. It's very hard for people to admit when they were wrong and malicious. But hey, that's wrestling. If you love me like you say you love me, the boss, HBK and Triple H, pay attention to social media. It's simple. Hashtag we want the dream and spam Triple H and WWE. They will hear you. We can make enough noise to drown out the lies and the hate. Here's this video by Patrick Clark.
Still talking about me. Better promo, better body, and better work rate than all your favorites still on TV. Let's talk about it. Ain't been on TV in 5 years, still talking about me. Better promo, better body, and better work rate than all your favorites still on TV. Let's talk about it.
So that's the first part of this. So the first part, he literally said, hey, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, it's been 5 years. Can y'all, bring me back now, please? The people are using the hashtag we want the dream. They want me back. I'm better than all your superstars. And he literally just politicked a match against Trick Williams. So I'll start with Dan because he's the one who put the Dan, you want to comment on Patrick Clark, a.k.a. the Velveteen Dream? DREAM is?
You know, he was arguably one of the best they had, for that time period. He wasn't. I have no doubt if all that hadn't happened, he probably would have been an NXT champion. Oh, he'd probably, who knows, maybe he'd be a world champion by now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he was hot in 2019 going against Roddy for the North American title, then Adam Cole for the NXT title. He was red hot the feud with Aleister Black.
And the problem is, it's been 5 years.
Yes.
Which you can both attest to. In the wrestling world, that's like a lifetime.
That's a lifetime in the wrestling world, yep.
I mean, can he looks like he could still go.
I mean,
but I am telling you, the way he is going about it is not the right way.
No, he's just going buck ass wild, and we'll get to that next video. But Paul, go ahead, talk about what you just saw from the dream.
I'm actually gonna kind of stay on subject, but kind of go off of subject. See,
sure.
I don't know if you noticed this, that this yesterday actually, Rob Manfred actually reinstated Pete Rose.
Oh yeah.
Oh really?
Now, if you notice that Pete Rose is now getting a second chance, but he's dead and gone.
Yes.
Something that could have happened years ago.
And should have.
Instead of prolonging it, instead of waiting, Pete Rose didn't want to have to come back into baseball. I mean, he was happy being an announcer, doing stuff for Fox Sports,
and getting to
his own podcast. But what he didn't want was somebody to come in and profit off of his name, which is what MLB was doing. I know that's kind of an off subject, but here's my thing. Pete Rose deserved that second chance at one point in time.
Mm-hmm.
And he should have received it years ago. A lifetime ban, yeah. Should you have just said, hey, look, he needs to go into the Hall of Fame strictly for his baseball, what he did as a baseball player. Forget what he did as a manager. He should have gone into the Hall of Fame strictly for what he did as a player. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, and I'm using this as an example, is because we all deserve a second chance. Hell, look at Hulk Hogan. He's had a third, a fourth, and a fifth chance.
Yep.
All I'm saying is that give the man a chance. If anything like this should come up again, okay, I understand you not wanting him to be there. Okay. First time, shame on you, or, shame on you, second time, shame on me, It's just giving him the opportunity because he looks like he's in phenomenal shape. Yes. Is he going about it all wrong? Of course he is.
Absolutely.
I think he should have just said, hey, look, let me go into WWE. Let me talk to them, have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. Hopefully they'll be able to take it. Have a decent conversation rather than going on social media and trying to parlay yourself into this and hoping that they'll see you. But yes, you're right. 5 years is a really long time for a wrestling career,
And
or being absent from a wrestling career.
if you all remember, a couple of years ago, Ryback tried almost the same thing.
With the voting and the poll, yeah.
And I think the thing he should do, and let's not act like he hasn't done some questionable things. We all have. We're human. There's no debating that. I honestly feel this video should have been like, hey, I made mistakes in the past. I'm really trying to move forward and get back to where I was. Obviously, there's got to be a reason why Triple H, Shawn Michaels, whoever, are not taking his calls. There's got to be a reason that, he's not saying.
I think.
Okay,
like
BC, I'm sorry, but this is not a show about wrestling. It's an intervention. We are here for an intervention for you.
It is. It's fucking. So Velveteen Dream would also cut this video, and this one was even worse than what you just saw because he literally copy and pasted John Cena's heel promo after the Elimination Chamber. Here we go.
Because wrestling is fake. It makes sense to me that people who watch something fake, who love fake chaos, will continue to pour into it. But I just want you to know it's really, really affecting me. And since I have been affected, I only feel that it's right that I affect you back. It's called a cause and effect, because if Patrick Clark can't have pro wrestling, I don't think anybody should. They're going so far as to compare me to Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit. They call me the most hated man in professional wrestling and loop me in with Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is a killer. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. Because if you push hard enough, I'll kill pro wrestling for you. Velveteen Dream, that third eye, it wasn't just a gimmick. Patrick Clark has seen a lot, and I know a lot about people you love, people you're still watching on TV today. So the choice is yours, and you've already made it. I'm going to ruin pro wrestling for you. I'm going to make sure that I expose the business. And hopefully, none of us can have pro wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like a sweetest joy next to getting.
Yep.
We got it. We got what we're talking about here. Same shit.
Same shit.
You know what? He didn't need to go that far, but you know what? He went that far when in reality look, you're biting the hand that could possibly feed you, and your best bet is to try somewhere else. Try going somewhere else other than WWE. Try and make your
This
name.
guy's got a new thing going.
What did Drew McIntyre do? He left. They they let him go. He went out and reinvented himself. Look at what Dijak is doing. He went out somewhere and is reinventing himself. Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder left and he's reinventing himself somewhere else. Why can't Patrick Clark just go somewhere else, reinvent himself as an individual, and then maybe, just maybe, he'll get that phone call from them?
No.
Or AEW might actually want to take a chance on him. I'm not saying that they would. I'm just saying that it's
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you.
And of course,
No,
that man will pay him.
I don't think he will pay him. Well, here's the thing that kills him. So when he got on Instagram years ago and he told the story about being at the party with EC3 and apparently EC3 accused him of filming him and there was coke on the table and whatnot. And then he got arrested for the DUI and he literally snorted coke on camera and kept yelling, "I know my Miranda rights." So Velveteen Dream has not had a good 5 years. So that is also probably why they haven't been taking him back. So, yeah. Because I think he'll spiral. Like
the
that.
other thing to consider,
Yes.
he said no charges, no conviction.
Yep.
And that is true.
Very much.
Now, the charges were dropped because the prosecutors decided not to prosecute. Does that mean you're guilty? No. Now, I'm a prosecutor and I have evidence that somebody committed a crime, but I don't think I can get a conviction with the jury. I can make the decision, drop the charges. It happens all the time, all across the country.
Right. Patrick Clark, you need to get your shit together. You need to get your shit together because, my goodness gracious, such a great talent, but he fucked himself over big time. You don't see Michael Elgin in TNA. Unfortunately, you see Tessa Blanchard in TNA, but Velveteen Dream, you need to get your shit together, brother.
And you almost never see Marty Scurll anymore.
No, Marty Scurll is whatever Marty Scurll's doing. Nothing.
Yeah, but he had a fight with his wife at the time. That was it was girlfriend, huh?
Yeah.
That was God damn it. I know she's with somebody else right now.
I forget. Yeah, Marty Scurll's girlfriend, whoever that was. No,
God
that's gonna
damn it. Anyways, yeah, but anyways, we all know the subject and we all know what happened.
Yeah, it's just it's such a shame just to see this. It breaks my heart every single time seeing shit like this that really goes into fruition like that. Yeah, I forgot who the hell he was dating. Somebody can put that in the comments who Marty Scurll was dating. That's gonna bug us. But speaking of something that kind of bugs us, and we'll get to the two things that have to do with this man. One of them is
wasn't it Deonna Purrazzo?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Deonna
Oh my
Purrazzo.
God, her name
Deonna
just
Purrazzo.
popped into my head. Deonna Purrazzo.
Deonna Purrazzo, who's
God
now
dang.
who's now with Steve Macklin, and they're married.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's with Steve Macklin. Yeah.
Okay.
See, it just took me a minute. Sorry, my bad. My brain
That's okay.
doesn't function like it used to. Sorry, my bad.
All good.
We're getting old, Paul.
Damn
some
it.
people-
Shit sucks.
Well, people
know,
who are
right?
getting, people
I
who are
suffer
getting
from CRS. That's what I suffer from. Can't remember shit.
can't remember shit. Well, speaking of people who can't remember shit or they just lie about shit, Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff were on the Ariel Helwani show talking about real American freestyle wrestling. But one of the things that came about was Hulk Hogan was asked about being booed on Monday Night Raw in Los Angeles. Let me tell you something, brother.
Hulk, you don't need me to tell you this, but I think you're in a real interesting point in your life and career, because I think that there's a sector of people who were with you in the 80s, who rided with you, who will always ride with you and always support you. And obviously there are some fans who don't feel that same way anymore, who have turned against you, and we see you at Raw and they boo you when you come out. But then there are other fans who want to support your beer or whatever product that you're attached to. How do you feel, without beating around the bush, how do you feel about your relationship with the public right now, your relationship with the people, especially coming off the last time we saw you on a major stage was that Netflix show back in January at the Intuit Dome?
Well, they're still nipping at my heels. I can go out there and get booed, As actually the last time I was in LA, I was Hollywood Hogan with a black beard and doing the bad guy thing. I can go out there and get booed in LA, or The Rock can get booed in LA, or John Cena gets booed in LA. But when I get booed, there's a whole different reaction media wise. For some reason, I've laid some type of groundwork that people are still interested in what I'm doing. And so for those that are on the team and are riding with the train to the station, that's great. For those that are the haters and still have a problem with me, there's nothing I can do to fix that except, just keep proving by my actions that, I'm still in the game. I'm still pushing hard. I took a lot of time off because I had like 25 surgeries and I was down for a long time. And, I've always loved the hunt. I've always loved to get back in the game, but it's always been that way with me because my whole career, I had that top spot no matter what it was. Even through the 80s, it was the fastest draw. During the 80s, it was just a situation where everybody was knocking me. Everybody was trying to knock me off that top spot. I'll trade that for not being on the bottom of the card, if you know what I'm saying, or being on the bottom of the pile of life. So for me, it's just part of the territory. I mean, it's kind of like, when you get booed and then you get 3.2 billion engagements all of a sudden, and you rock that whole world in LA with how much interaction there was on the internet. I'll take it.
Okay, so after that, you didn't view that as some sort of like indictment on the state of your career, how people feel about you. You felt like they were just booing the character?
Oh, no. All the above. There are certain people that, boo the character. There are certain WWE superstars that had an opinion and they had advice for me. But I would like to ask those same guys when I go to New York or Chicago and the people cheer, out of the rooftops, I would like to know what their advice is then and what their opinion is. So it's a double-edged sword with me. And it's always been that way. It's part of the character. It's part of, me personally. It's part of my professional life. It's part of my personal life. It's all the above. I mean, and at the end of the day, I'm just like an old scarred up seal with a bunch of scars on me. And I'm really relatable to most normal people because a lot of people have been through a lot of stuff I have professionally. A lot of people have made not the same mistakes, but personally made mistakes. And I'm still relatable to so many people. If they boo me, fine. If they're on the team lead, that's great too. So not hating on anybody, brother. I'm still here. I'm still moving forward. And it's kind of like the old Rocky movie. It depends on how hard you can get hit, get back up and keep moving forward. And brother, I'm always leaning into the wind.
Yeah, you're relatable to everybody, Hulk.
Mike?
Yes.
Oh, you guys remember the movie Billy Madison?
Of course.
The very end where Billy gives that random response.
A bit, yeah.
To me, that was this. This made absolutely no fucking sense.
I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Yep.
I'm sorry, but how is it you could be a racist piece of shit
Yes.
and it's on the internet? This isn't like, hey, you did this in your home and it was just some random person, who was in your home and it's a he said, she said, or, whichever way you want to look at it. It's my word against yours, and that part.
Right.
You didn't do it once. You did it twice.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you did it more often than just the twice that you were caught doing it with. You said the N-word clear as day.
Hard R, by the way.
About his daughter's boyfriend.
He's a rich N-word. Yep.
Then you went off and said it somewhere else. And then when people tried to ask you to take accountability for it, you didn't want to. You said, "Oh, well, I apologized over and over again. I don't know how much more apologies I have to do."
Don't get caught, brother.
Accountability.
Yep.
Accountability. Look, I did the things that I did in my past. I take accountability for them. Mm-hmm. The indiscretions that I had in my past relationships, guess what? I took accountability for them. I was responsible for my actions and the things that I did in my past. how is it that that is so hard to do, and you can't simply just say, hey, look, I made my mistake, I'll apologize to everybody, you know what, I'll even come out, I'll support you guys. Mark Henry, all he wanted him to do was come out, say it, come to some conventions with him, you know, as far as like black, I believe it was black colleges,
Yep.
or support groups or stuff like that, was what he wanted him to do. And he wouldn't do it. And look at what happened with Booker T. Booker T was telling him pretty much the same thing. And they've all but just said, you know what? Fuck you. I don't want nothing to do with you.
Right.
Period.
You know, a couple of points to kind of reiterate on what Paul said. To finish the point I was making about the Billy Madison reference, I'm going to paraphrase this response to Hulk Hogan.
Fuck
Hulkster,
the Hulk Hogan. Sorry, my
well,
bad.
that too. But Hulkster, what you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic ramblings that I have ever heard. At no point in your insane rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this world is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. You know,
And the fact, and you know what?
and
And the
fuck
fact
the
is,
Hulk Hogan.
yeah, but the fact is like we continually go back and forth on this. It's taking accountability, you know, knowing that what you did was wrong. You know, you the people who you work with, yes, we know that you buried people. Let's set aside the wrestling aspect of it. You had so many MAGA supporters who were pretty much saying, oh, well, because it's a democratic state, that's the reason why people were mad at him. No, we know the history. We know what he did wrong. He never took accountability for it. That's why a lot of us are fucking pissed off.
Now,
I was there. I have the video. I sent it to you guys.
mhm.
And a lot of those people knew that night that the reason why they hated him was because of the politics that he fucking played in wrestling and the bullshit that he said on camera. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were a lot of them that were probably hating on him because of who he supports. But I know that there's a majority of people in the IWC who specifically hate him because of everything he did to other wrestlers and the bullshit that he said. Period.
So let me ask you this, Paul. If you think, even with all the, holding people down, if Terry Bollea, not Hulk Hogan, because Terry Bollea, the guy,
Yeah.
if he had come out and said, I did some really messed up things in the past, I made comments that, upon deeper reflection, I'm not proud of. If he had made an honest to God apology, you think the reaction might have been different?
But he's made apologies. He said he was been vocal over and over again, and making apologies. But
I mean, if he
went back and did the same shit.
Exactly.
Again.
I mean, if he had made good, didn't repeat his mistakes, if he had made an honest effort to better himself.
Okay, if he had made that honest to God, the efforts to change, and help, even if he would have taken up Mark Henry on his offer, to go to different places, I believe it was black colleges that he wanted him to attend, and then seminars, specifically that dealt with racial issues like that.
Yeah.
But had he done that, had he done everything that Mark had asked him to do, or and made those efforts, yeah, everything would probably be different. Everything that he's saying in this video would have been completely different, and the reactions that he's getting probably would have been 100 times different, and it would have been very much positive. People would have been like, oh yeah, Hulk Hogan's back, yeah. we love that guy, all right, and we probably would have heard some boos, but I mean, because of politically.
Yeah.
But in all logic, from the standpoint from a wrestling fan, and I've been watching Hulk Hogan since before he got into WWF. I remembered him in the AWA. I remembered him in New Japan. That's how old I am. I'm only a year older than John Cena. There. But still, at the end of the day, the fact is that he didn't take accountability for the things that he said, and unfortunately, everything that he's getting and all the backlash that he's getting, pun intended,
and
is well deserved.
And mind you guys, this is also the same guy that said, people are very forgiving. I mean, they forgave Chris Benoit.
That's what he said on friggin' Impulsive. Yeah,
motherfucker. Nobody, no rational fan is like, yeah, what Chris Benoit did is no big deal.
I think it's just his accountability.
We just heard freaking Patrick Clark say the same shit.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. So for me, with Hulk Hogan, I have never the politics don't help. But I mean,
Hulk Hogan.
Fuck the Hulk Hogan. I hated him when he politicked. I hated him when he said the racist shit and then he didn't really apologize for it. I hated him when the whole thing with the Bubba the Love Sponge thing happened, in which they're both pieces of shit. And the fact that their friendship is over still makes me laugh. But it's one of those things where I just cannot believe just the things that come out of his mouth, and people don't think that we can't fact check him on this. Much like this. So the other thing that happened with Hulk Hogan, apparently he's good friends with that boy, Benjamin Shelton.
Great guys like Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, they're Benjamin Shelton. There's some really tough guys, really crazy wrestlers. Like I got Brock Lesnar right after he left the UFC. I got him first. I got Kurt Angle when his eyeballs used to roll back like a shark and he'd come after me. Benjamin Shelton, all these different guys that I've had the opportunity to see adapt to our business.
So Benjamin Shelton.
Oh man, I remember his career.
He would go on to respond to this message to Hulk Hogan.
Don't you guys remember the 5-star WrestleMania main event that was Benjamin Shelton versus Braden Walker?
Oh God, yes, of course.
That absolute banger.
So Benjamin Shelton, of course, Shelton Benjamin, would put this tweet out. Message to Hulk Hogan: you lost me forever with your don't get caught, or as you call it, apology speech. So rather than screw up my name and pretend we ever had any sort of camaraderie, which we never had, please do me a favor. And Will Smith, Jeff, keep my name out of your
motherfucking mouth.
So here's my thing about this. I said it with Rob and Nicola. I will say it with you too. Brock Lesnar wrestled John Cena in his first match back in 2012. He wrestled Hulk Hogan in the summer of 2002 when he took him out with the blood and the Brock Lock and all that during the Brock Lesnar rise in the summer of 2002. He wrestled Kurt Angle at King of the Ring 2002 and a couple matches on Raw in 2005. And he was in TNA, by the way, in 2012 when he went the Brock Lesnar thing. And also, the only time he ever wrestled Shelton Benjamin, he wasn't Hulk Hogan. He was Mr. America, and I was there for this. It was Mr. America, Kurt Angle, and Brock Lesnar against the world's greatest tag team in the Big Show at Madison Square Garden.
No way that made anything. Oh my God.
Yeah. We get fact checking.
At the end of the day, Hulk Hogan is never going to take responsibility.
No.
He's never going to take accountability. Everything that he says is pretty much worthless. And until the day he actually does, a lot of wrestling fans just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's just point blank. A lot of people just don't give a shit. Not about his beer, not about,
Raph.
Not about anything that he's doing outside of WWE, not about this wrestling promotion or whatever it is that he's doing with Eric Bischoff. And I feel sorry. You know what? And the worst part about it is that Eric Bischoff is just going along with it. I get it. He wants to make money and whatnot, but this is not. That's not a person that you want to be associated with, especially in this climate and environment.
Mhm.
But if you still are a believer in Hulk Hogan and his brand, then go right the fuck ahead.
Speaking
Well,
of,
I
yeah.
think it's necessary. Remember about a month ago when Linda Hogan put out that video about Brooke, and then Brooke claps back and said, "Hey, my parents did all this, this, that, and the other thing to me." And that didn't really help Hogan's image either.
Oh no, not at all. It's a whole bowl and bag of fuckery that is just those people they need help. They need to take accountability, and they not need to stop being doot-to-doos. And for me, here comes the ultimate doot-to-do.
You know what? Patrick Clark and Terry Bollea just need to go fuck themselves and go be together somewhere and go do racist shit together. This way one can cancel off the other.
Yeah, and speaking of canceling somebody off, so Eric Bischoff was also this week in a war of words with the esteemed Dave Meltzer. So Eric Bischoff,
here's the gif of Miley Cyrus going,
that will be inserted here. So Eric Bischoff responded to a
right
fan
here on the weekly review.
Yes.
Keep pop number 1.
So
23 more to go.
Amen. So Bubble Yeti would respond to Eric Bischoff saying, Dave Meltzer is the Mexican tap water of professional wrestling. And Eric Bischoff said, there is no reason to denigrate Mexican tap water like this. You owe Mexico an apology. And Dave Meltzer claps back with, here's the wonderful thing about you being back. At the 6-year mark, if you're still around and your company is doing 100K plus for 9 pay-per-views a year and at 2 gates above $6 million and garner a $500 million TV deal, you'll have to be proved as good as the guy who spent years saying as bad as his job. Best of luck. And I love to see you make it because I'd love to see some of those guys make good money. And then old school Keith under this would write, do you let Tony finish in your mouth? And the rest of the comments would suffice. So Dave Meltzer pretty much is like, oh, Eric Bischoff. You want to run a company. Tony's still better than you.
They haven't even done anything yet. And
I know.
This is the bullshit that we have to fucking come to. This is the bullshit that we have to basically talk about.
Yep.
The fact is that they've done nothing. You're basing everything on the fact that, oh, hey, guess what? AEW surpassed Monday Nitro. Yay.
Yep.
Now what?
Now what? Oh, God, these people. I will say there is one other person that we have to talk to. I know we're going through a lot of the shittery right now, but we had to get this out of the way, folks, just because of just nonsense. And someone else who did nonsense, and Dan, when the Uncaged episode comes out that we did, Dan and I touched upon it briefly, but I wanted to save it for this show. Go ahead.
Cheap Pop number 2.
Number 2. Thank you. Sorry. Yes, I realized I did it myself. There you go. Cheap Pop number 2. So, Jonathan Coachman, as Daniel put it,
Coachman.
Jonathan Coachman.
Vince Russo is rubbing off Jonathan Coachman. So Jonathan Coachman was on his panel, his show, whatever the hell this is, and he pretty much said that Bayley is done. She's washed. Nobody cares about Bayley. She's boring. And he was shocked that she wasn't part of the recent releases. And here is what Jonathan Coachman had to say.
Bayley is done.
No.
She's washed up. She's boring.
I disagree with
She's
you.
nothing.
I don't agree
She's
with you.
nothing anymore.
Disagree.
What does she bring to the table? What does Bayley, if you dropped Bayley off the roster today, what would we lose?
You could say that about a lot of people.
No. I didn't ask about a lot of people. I asked about Bayley. I also agree with the Jeezer. He says she's been boring since day freaking one. There are certain superstars. And when I was in the WWE for 13 years, there would be certain people, and she'd be one of them, that you'd walk around backstage going, how in the world is she winning the Royal Rumble? Or how in the world is he doing that? To me, I've never, and I think she's a very sweet person, but there's a lot of sweet people. But I just don't think she's ever sold a ticket. Like, ever sold a ticket for any rivalry that she's ever done.
Okay. Bailey versus Sasha Banks, NXT
Oh,
Takeover.
When the fuck has Jonathan Coachman ever fucking sold out a fucking arena? When the hell has the marquee ever said Jonathan Coachman, against whoever the fuck he's Hornswoggle, whoever the fuck he's wrestling? When has anybody ever said, hey, guess what? Somebody, let's go spend all our fucking hard-earned money on going to see Jonathan Coachman, whatever. Fuck, dude. You're bitching about the worst fucking thing, dude. Then talk about throwing shade at fucking Bailey.
Yep.
And
fucking Bailey of all fucking people.
One of the nicest fucking people in the world.
Right.
I get that's Russo, it's his thing, but why so?
This is the reason
negative?
why he ain't ever gonna fucking come back.
You know what it is? I'm just gonna bet he asked Bailey out on a date and she said no.
I wouldn't have doubted.
I
wouldn't doubt it. I bet you ain't think she fucking threw his ass and I
Have
said,
you
"Nah,
ever-
I'm good."
Have you ever, in all the years that you watched wrestling interviews, have you ever heard anyone have a negative word to say about Bailey?
No, not at all.
Sky Blue from AEW met her at a committee or convention or Mania weekend, and said that Bailey was such a sweet person after being out and doing signings all day, which I don't know a single person that would want to do that from like 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. signing pictures.
I mean, Becca Wiley, who just got into the business, she's relatively new. The one with the girl with cerebral palsy. She's like, I met her. She was the sweetest thing in the world. She's one of my influences. Like, I don't.
We can go back. Didn't Cora Jade meet her too?
Yeah,
Jade looked.
Cora Jade met her. Izzy Moreno right now. Beautiful example of somebody who is basically doing the whole gimmick of Bailey. The whole hugger thing, for her is working. And why? Because she literally is a second version of Bailey. She is such a likable person. I've had interactions with her on Twitter, and she's such the sweetest girl to respond to everybody, as many people as she can. But still, at the same fact, is like you get people who say so many positive things about Bailey. Yeah, the marquee may not fucking always say, hey, Bailey versus Charlotte or Bailey versus Becky Lynch, and there have been times to where people have, gone to events to where they wanted to specifically see Bailey, even though her name wasn't up on the marquee.
I mean, even look at it now. Like, Coach, even in that clip, would go on to talk about how he likes Lyra and the Becky situation. But I'm like, the story also has a focal point with Bailey into it, because Becky said, you're associated with Bailey, and I hate that bitch. Like, they're setting up babyface Bailey against heel Becky. Like, hello, Coach.
But it makes sense, right? Exactly what is going on. It makes perfect sense. So how is it that you're going to throw this girl under the bus? Will it be a pay-per-view main event? I'm sure it could. Yeah. If you build it up that way, it could. And a lot of the bullshit that IWC specifically, what the IWC do is they bash the people that they don't fucking like. And they tend to paint people the whole tribalism. It's AEW fans versus TNA fans. WWE fans. And vice versa. And they pit everybody against each other. And it's like, we come on here, we say all the things that we want to say. I don't hate AEW. I love the wrestling. I just hate the fucking stories that they tell.
Oh, we'll get to that.
But we also get on fucking WWE about the bullshit stories that they tell too. So the fair fucks to everybody.
Fair fucks to everybody. And I mean,
to see more on that,
Sorry, Mom. I'm gonna send. I promised my mom I would send this to her. I apologize for cussing, but yes, that's what I do on here. So, but it isn't my fault. It's their fault, Mom. It's
Mike's
their
fault.
It's my.
It's
It's my
all yeah.
fault.
It's all Mike's fault. Mike
He's the
says we
host.
could cuss. Mike says we could cuss all we want. So,
So
hi, Mom.
if you look at Bailey, she is somebody that, by all conventional logic, she should not have made it.
No,
Of
not
the
at all.
4 horsewomen of NXT. Like, if you lined all 4 of them up and you said all 3 of the 4 will be a world champion, the other no. And then if you had said that to me, even though it all is bullshit, I probably would have said probably would be Bailey.
Well,
You know, she's got the generic cookie cutter baby face. But the thing is, she made that work because she is genuine. She's genuinely a wonderful person. Look at Aaron Solo, the guy that used to be engaged in AEW. He has said about her, she's such a sweetheart. Now, Bailey is somebody that she has gotten over with the crowd organically. Look at Io Sky. Look at Danhausen in AEW. Stupid gimmick. But should that have ever worked? No. By conventional wisdom, no. But Bailey is a wonderful person. And the company, unlike you, Coach, they love her.
Exactly.
And Coach comes across as a wine bag. And if I'm Tony Khan, and he pays attention to these shows, heck, he probably watches our show, which if you want to see more episodes of what Mike does, link to his show will be down below. The link to my stuff will be down below. Then the link to all Paul's stuff will be down below. We'll deal with that again later. But hey, I had to get 3 cheap pops. That puts us at number 6.
6.
Yes.
Final answer 6. So I gotta add to your point. So even if you look at it, she tells the story on Talk is Jericho years ago where it's like her and Sasha Banks were referred to as the Plain Janes. Like that's what they felt like. They were Plain Janes. And I mean, you talk about people, if you remember NXT Breaking Point that they used to have back in the day, excuse me, not Breaking Point, Breaking Ground, like they showed when Carmella was like starting to really come up on the NXT roster, Bailey would be the one who would she would drive the new girls. She would have the new girls ride with her. And I think that done a lot for them, pearls of wisdom and everything. So I don't want to hear about how Bailey's boring. She's done. She's washed. When she's an integral part of the story. And Coach, like many people, and including Bro, who recently just did a video about, WWE needs Vince McMahon because it's boring right now. No, they don't, Vince. No, they don't. They both have the Vince McMahon mindset because
why he said it, right?
Why?
Because he thinks Vince will be dumb enough to hire him back.
Oh, Jesus. He probably would. It's just old timers, veterans who just have no clue, and that there are more layers to this than just looking hot and looking sexy.
I don't want to say that it's that they don't have no clue. I just think that it gives them talking points to where people will come in to want to see what they're saying. It will be it will be like guys like us or show specific shows who will say certain things and will want to get talking about him. That's specifically why he does it. He knows it. That's the reason why Vince taught him is say the most controversial thing and people will want to listen. Hence why the orange idiot is doing what he's doing. He says the most controversial shit, but it's different when you're in the world of wrestling as opposed to being the president of the United States.
Being the president of the United States, yes. And you mentioned the discourse here, and we'll get back to Becky soon too, because we're going to talk about women's wrestling after this point. But Will Ospreay continues his WWE comparison and talk and interview. So he was just on Josh Martinez's radio show, and an excerpt came out with Will Ospreay saying that AEW smokes WWE in every field of wrestling. And I quote, we smoke them in every field of wrestling. Like, we're just better. I respect every single one of them there. They all know what they're doing. They're great at their job. They understand getting people on their feet, but we are so much more better of a wrestling company than them. Hey, Will, you do realize professional wrestling, there's more than just the bell to bell, right? Yes.
Death Riders say hi.
The Death Riders say hi. So this is how petty AEW is. So Jeff Cobb, and we'll get to Backlash in a bit. Jeff Cobb makes his debut for the WWE at Backlash. And tonight on AEW, during the Jon Moxley Samoa Joe fuckery that was that cage match, Tony got Gabe Kidd all the way from New Japan to help Jon Moxley retain the AEW World's Heavyweight Championship against Samoa Joe. And then the run-ins with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and all these people, because, it's got to be what it's got to be. And they still only have 4 matches for this Double or Nothing next week. Mercedes and Jamie Hayter, friggin' Hangman Page and Will Ospreay. The tag titles are on the line in the most random things. So depending on who wins on Collision, it's going to be Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin against either Lio Rush and Action Andretti or Goldust and Sammy Guevara for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And Mina Shirakawa, since she wants the Eliminator tonight, she's going to face Toni Storm for the AEW World Women's Championship. And yeah. And Zach Gowen, and somebody said the best thing about that friggin' show was Ricochet and Zach Gowen, and I watched that match. It was not bad. For what they did, fine, but still, you're bringing Zach Gowen on TV in 2025. It's just that company, but yeah, they're better than WWE. Paul, take it away. Your thoughts on Will Ospreay's comments?
I go back to what Benjamin Shelton said.
Benjamin Shelton.
I go back to what Benjamin Shelton said, and here's the thing. Keep my wife's name at your goddamn mouth. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense. It's like you're that bitter ex-girlfriend, who's trying to get under someone's skin, and they don't give a damn about you anymore.
No.
They're doing what they're doing. You don't like it. Hey, so what? That's exactly what it is. And it's like, the more I say, the more I speak it, I'll speak it into existence. But it's kudos to you that you guys are going over there and doing what you're doing. I just spoke about tribalism. And what is this idiot doing? And I really, really like Will Ospreay. I think he's a phenomenal wrestler. I really, really do. But god dang, when you open up your mouth and you say the dumbest shit, God, people just don't care. With the exception of AEW fans who.
And I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. I love you. Will, keep saying it.
Which brings me to my next point, which am I going to be the only fucking person that's going to say it?
Yes.
How much y'all want to bet Tony Khan told him to say that shit?
Could be.
No. I'm on conspiracy theory mode here because I got another one.
Okay.
I'm gonna address the El Patron situation later. That's gonna be a theory, but this one, Tony's been awfully quiet on Twitter lately.
Yeah.
I think he told Ricochet, "Give me your phone."
Oh, the Ricochet Javon Evans bullshit that happened this week. Good God.
Which it's dumb. So I think he's probably looking for people. And I seem to remember a couple months back, it was short, maybe it was a little after Will debuted, Triple H had made the comment that some people just can't handle the grind.
Right.
He said something, Will clapped back, and then Will said in an interview, he said, "It is what it is." They said something, I responded, and it's done.
Right.
And he said, I'm not going to be that guy. So, but now you have no
all
problem.
Of a sudden,
that
I'm that guy.
And Ricochet, did you see Ricochet responded to that tweet?
Yes, like about the freaking how much does the Performance Center hold?
Well, no. The Ospreay.
Oh yeah, he said we are better than them. I saw that. Yeah.
And like the comments are like, "Oh my God, yes they were." Then you have people that are like, no.
No. I mean, Ricochet did say that, but he also said some dumb shit. So here's the Javon Evans exchange.
Fuck the Ricochet.
Which Javon, everybody's like, oh, he's in character. No, he's literally a fucking douchebag. And it's not helping his cause. So
yeah, WWE had a social media team.
yeah.
I don't know if AEW does.
Look, they told Javon Evans, hey, Javon, I get it, but take that shit down. Hey, Keanu Carter. It's probably not the best thing to do to talk about the Samoans. And we mentioned that last show, but yeah, they have a social media team. AEW does not. So here's what happened with the exchange. So some fan was talking about, Javon Evans, he's the greatest ever. He's one of the fastest rising young superstars, blah, 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 blah. And Ricochet responds with, I'd squash him. And then Javon Evans writes, my bad. I just got done training at the Performance Center under Shawn Michaels, something that you don't have or do. But I bet your brown head ass would squash me if Tony told you to. Much love, OD. Hashtag the young OG. Hashtag Tupac of this generation. Tupacalypse now, don't stop for hoes. I get around. And then Ricochet responds back with, brother, I was learning from Shawn Michaels when you was like 12, then went on to become multiple-time champion. Let me know when you win one, little boy. And yeah, if Tony asked me, I'd definitely beat your ass, huh? And then, after this exchange, Javon Evans would write, you learned from HBK when I was 12 and became a multiple-time champion. Now you're wrestling in front of 2,000 people every week for a crackhead. Talk about an upgrade, am I right? Hashtag the young OG. And then... and Ricochet, Javon Evans would then write,
he went there.
Javon Evans wrote, sounds like Mr. Khan isn't giving you enough attention, so you had to come for a successful-ass youngin' 100. You're giving me the most views on my post, and I'm finally helping you get the most attention you've ever had in your career, all love. And then Ricochet would say, hey, you perform at the Performance Center. How's that? Derper, derper, der. And I'm like, bro, you lost. Just take the L, Ricochet. Take the L. Hit the L, Ricochet. So that happened, and I will say this about Ricochet and the whole thing. The sickos went after Javon Evans because they showed a picture when he was on the Indies and he wrestled like an AEW dark match. He was like, well, you work for AEW on the dark and the dirt. Yeah, he didn't sign, did he? Like, goddamn. You want to take this away for this one, Dan? Because you're like dying because he went there with most.
Can you put the last one up again? I gotta see it again.
All right. All right.
This is one of the things I love and hate social media. Like, he embarrassed him.
He did.
And Ricochet, I said it on our last show. You've got a beautiful wife, a life a lot of people wished they had.
Yes.
You've got a dream job that millions have, and you're wasting your time on this instead of trying to help people better themselves. You're angry. I can't say, that I can't quote the movie Elf right now. But you're angry. Why?
You're an angry little elf. You're an elf.
Call me Elf one more time.
Call me Elf. You're an elf.
But like, Ricochet, why are you wasting your time with this? It makes no sense. Like, dude, spend time with your bride.
Yes.
Paul, spend time with your beautiful wife. Your beautiful wife, and have your life. You're in a company where they're using you, and you're being promoted, and you're making your money there, and you're on
and
TV
happy
every week, and you're supposedly supposed to be happy. Why it's like the ex-girlfriend back to the ex-girlfriend who can't seem to let go.
Right.
And for some apparent reason, it's like he just can't seem to let go. It's like, I got to put in my 2 cents where it doesn't belong, but I'm still going to put it in. Hopefully somebody will actually listen to it and hear it and want to take it for what it's worth, because ain't nobody give a shit. Not even Javon Evans. And the fact is, Javon fucking roasted him. So plain and simple.
And now we are going to go back to
You know what I
Becky.
mean? I'll finish it off with this.
Yeah, dude.
It seems like the number of people, from AEW shitting on WWE, whether it be interviews, whether it be social media, what have you, it seems like a lot of them are not who were silent. Now all of a sudden are ratcheting up the shit they say. Ricochet is one of the absolute best. Instead of, like I said, trying to drag him, build him up. Because Ricochet's not going to be around forever.
No.
And especially the high risk stuff he does. One wrong trip, which I hope to God doesn't happen. And honestly, he probably left for some money, but you're going to tell me if his contract, say it's a year, so a year from now, his contract comes up, WWE comes to him and just says, hey, we're really sorry. We see what you have. Here's what we're offering you. We are offering you, X amount of 7 figures. And says, what we'll do, we guarantee you at least 2 world title reigns, either WWE title or world heavyweight title. We'll let you have a reign with either of those 2.
Right.
And we want you back right now, and we even guarantee you a WrestleMania main event night 2. You're closing out the whole show. You're going to tell me that if they offered that to him now, and he could make the jump, you're going to tell me he wouldn't?
I think if he was still here, and after Braun Breaker stuff, after he got laid out by Breaker to help elevate Breaker, if I was Ricochet, I'm like, dude, the CW network is coming up. Why don't you go be one of the top stars on NXT? Wrestle the Javon Evanses, wrestle Trick Williams, wrestle all these people. And he would do wonderfully. And he would be on the CW right now working with all these people. But instead, he has to be Ricochet. He could have
Team Mutate.
He's Team Mutate. Yeah. So with that being said, we are going to go down. Paul's just shaking his head. So
are we talking about the Spice Girls reunion?
No.
Here? Is that what this is?
No. So we got
that's like a Spice Girls.
Yeah, because if you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friend.
Well, I mean,
I wouldn't mind. I mean, I wouldn't mind either.
Yeah.
I mean, I love me a little Baby Spice. You know what I'm saying? The Scary is pretty cool.
Go,
the
baby.
Scary was pretty hot too. So I'm just saying.
You want to be with the one who was with Eddie Murphy?
Oh, okay.
So Paul's face. So let's go to the next topic here, which involves women's wrestling. So Becky Lynch did an interview with Variety where she said, when you talk about the 4 horsewomen, it's not like we were a faction. We were ambitious women who wanted to change the game, change how things were done, and be seen as the biggest stars in wrestling regardless of gender. And then Big E from Backlash said the comment that put everybody that women loved. We love you, Big E. Big E just stood up for all the women's locker room. You love to hear it. Here's what Big E said on the panel at Backlash.
We see 2 Irish women. I feel like so much of the narrative is this a passing of the torch moment? But it's also very interesting when I hear from Becky, and she talks a lot about age and the way we talk about age with the women and the way we talk about age with the men. And that for a lot of women who are in their late 30s, it's, oh, are you winding down? When are you ready to get out? But look, it feels like 75% of the male side is 38, 39, 40, 45.
We just celebrated
50.
Randy wanted to do another 10 years.
Exactly. So let's give the women the same honor and the same grace as well.
Thank you for saying that, because
he was spot on with everything he just said. Like, oof.
100.
100.
Everything he said was pretty much spot on. And how is it that there is this double standard? And there were a lot of people, and I believe our girl Ella J actually mentioned it too. I mean, it was well said, well articulated in his words,
yep.
And wasn't wrong in any of it. The fact is that we see all these older guys that are out there busting their ass, you know, that, and then we see someone like Trish Stratus, who's still looks like she's in her 30s.
Oh, easily.
Easily looks like she's in her late 20s, maybe early 30s. God, she looks amazing and can go out there and bust her ass. Mickey fucking James. That girl don't age.
No.
Because she still look, I'm sorry, Nick, but your girl look fine as all hell. Oh, sorry, my bad. My microphone. Sorry, Nick, wrong one. My microphone. Sorry, Nick, your girl look fine as all hell and still could probably work with any of them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love Ella J. Ella J actually, she actually posted which match she would love to see at this thing we're going to talk about next.
Yep.
And she wants to see Mickey James versus Charlotte. That's her dream.
That'd
match.
be good.
That would be very good.
You're welcome, Ella.
We love you, Ella. Speaking of great women like Ella J and great women in wrestling, PW Insider broke that WWE is potentially looking at the weekend of July 12th, 2025, potentially to host the Evolution pay-per-view in Atlanta, Georgia. Let's go. Let's go.
Nah, it's in the ATL.
But it's bookended. It's bookended by a Saturday night's main event, which is a week earlier, and Money in the Bank.
Yes.
So,
but it gets hot in Georgia that time
hot
of year.
Georgia. This is
Georgia.
not
Hot in her.
Perry. This is not Betty. This is hot Georgia.
Hello.
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 Although I realize when I do that, I actually kind of sound like Dr. Now. Hello.
Hello.
I love that guy.
But dude, if we look at it, we're going to look at it as a possibility right now. But let's look at it as it's going to happen.
Oh yeah.
We're thinking of 7-8 matches if that's where we're going to go with as far as like this pay-per-view or this PLE, sorry, my bad. The last one happened 12 years ago?
No, what, the Evolution pay-per-view?
Yeah.
2018.
It was?
Yeah, 7 years ago.
7 years.
Oh, 7 years ago. Good Lord. How old am I? Never mind. Don't answer that question.
You're 36.
36.
Thank you. I'm still young at heart. Okay, so what I'm saying is like we're gonna get 7-8 matches. I believe I will agree with Ella J and say that Mickey versus Charlotte I would love for that to be one of the matches. And I think that would be amazing to see those two go at it. But I need for it, if it's just a PLE and you're just doing wrestling matches, no storylines or anything going into it, great.
Yeah.
Give me them going, no offense, balls to the wall. I don't want to say the other word, but I want them to go all out and not all in, but all out. But I want them to just go out there for the fans, put on these matches, and just shell out. That's as a fan of this women's evolution, that has already grown by the masses. I would love to see more. I would love to see NXT, WWE, TNA, AAA, maybe even Stardom. I mean, not Stardom, Marigold. I would love to see a lot of those women integrated into this. So if we're going to look at what we believe to be a great, huge event, and I believe somebody actually mentioned in one of the comments, one of the things that they could have is maybe a battle royal. If you're going to have a battle royal, I would love to see 20 women, and it not be, hey, let me throw this woman over the top rope within 10 seconds. No,
Right.
give them a little bit of time. Give them time to enjoy themselves in the ring, get a spotlight, whatever.
Yeah, do
If
it
this
like
is going to be a yearly thing, shoot. Have fun.
do it like Shimmer back in 2005 when you see Shimmer Women's Athletes Volume X amount, whatever they got up to. You just let the girls work. Like, do it like
Yeah.
Shimmer used to do in 05. Like, another point I'll make is if this does happen on July 12th, it's the same day as AEW All In from Texas.
Yes,
and
it is.
And the sickos are already going, well, what they should do is they should put Mercedes Moné versus Tony Storm as the main event to counteract that. And I'm like, y'all got to stop. Y'all got to stop. Go ahead, man.
Can I take this on?
Yeah, hit me.
So, y'all know that you can buy, your A-Dub show.
Yeah.
You can put on y'all's TVs, order it there, watch it through your Xbox, your smart TV. What? And you can watch it that way. Then most people have a smartphone or little tablet.
Yeah.
You watch your little Netflix and you're this and you're that. What? And what you do is you watch Evolution. You can watch both. Like when Paul and I were youngins and, you had to flip back and forth between Nitro and Raw.
Yep.
Paul, you know how it be.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm not old. No, because there were times to where I would still record Nitro, even though I would flip back and forth from watching Raw to watching Nitro. And then when Nitro went to 3 hours, I would watch the first hour of Nitro and then and then start recording it from 8:55 or 8:50 on to 11:05, past 11 o'clock, because, sometimes Nitro used to run over their time limit. And I'd go watch Raw for a little while, then go back, and then I'd eventually, at some point in time, a day later, I would end up watching it on videotape, to kind of refresh of what happened and when I was watching Raw. So yeah, I know the whole thing.
Well, speaking of the whole thing, another big thing that came out, and we'll start getting into our indie talk here. TNA Wrestling and Lucha Libre AAA Worldwide announced TNA stars who will compete at Triple Mania on June 15th in Monterrey, Mexico. And as you can see from this poster, the Nemeth brothers.
Hey, look, it's Benjamin Shelton.
Wrong one. Joe Hendry.
I love me some Moose. Ooh.
Moose, Joe Hendry, and the Nemeth brothers. I'm for it. Let's go, baby. TNA and AAA. All right now.
Dude, I want this. I think we all wanted this.
Yep.
Since we be talking AAA,
okay,
I would not be shocked if at this event,
yes,
Alberto El Patron comes back. Wait, this is okay. So they're not in Tijuana. All right.
No, they're in Monterrey.
I would not be shocked if El Patron, comes out and he drops the title. Drops it to Vikingo would be
El Hijo de Vikingo. Okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because someone actually mentioned that too on that would probably be the best idea was for Alberto to drop the title to probably Vikingo, and by the time we have Worlds Collide here in LA, that hopefully that will get whoever from NXT, maybe Obafemi, maybe Charlie Dempsey, somebody from Ricky Starks or Ricky Saints. Sorry, my bad. Ricky Saints would be another one. But all these guys that are pictured have all wrestled in AAA before. Moose has. Nick Nemeth was the mega champion for over 100 days, actually.
I think he dropped it to El Patron.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, and he did. And then Joe Hendry has actually wrestled at Triple Mania before. It was in a tag team match, if I'm not mistaken. And, you know, it's cool, you know, that they've had people who have wrestled there before. Even the women who are in TNA too. Some of the women have wrestled there too.
Well, that's the thing. I think this partnership is so great to see all these women and men, and I can't wait for when worlds collide. You know, you're not going to see Alberto on any of these. I think he's strictly going to be on the AAA events, which that's fine. Don't bring him around anything WWE or TNA wise. And I look at it from a stance like this. It helps all these men and women grow, and they get to do their thing. And we'll get to an announcement from AAA in a minute. But
I want to point something out, and Mike, I pose this thinker to you, which I thought I did. Maybe I'm wrong.
Okay.
So we know when WWE bought AAA, they were getting the video library too. Isn't that right, Paul? They would have gotten all that.
Yeah.
We're talking a couple decades worth of video footage. AEW did shows for AAA.
Yes.
WWE now owns that material.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm assuming they're probably going to put it on Peacock.
Yes.
So that means that literally there will be Kenny Omega matches from AAA.
Kenny Omega and Vikingo
on the WWE network.
That's correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I can't be the new one that finds that funny.
Why? So
I agree with you that eventually what's going to happen is the way that TNA is doing. They did some signings a couple of days this past week too, but the thing is what I believe that they're positioning themselves to do is to put the assets together to where they can sell the company to TKO, not Triple H, TKO. And I hate when people keep saying the exact same thing. I hate it when people keep saying, "Oh, well, Triple H is just trying to take over all these companies." It's not Triple H. Does he have can he say some things? Of course he can. But right now his focus is WWE. What is going on in WWE? Whatever TKO does and whatever it does on the side, hey, that's their business. Much like the AAA acquisition. It was their business.
What it could be is maybe TKO, Ari Emanuel, they go to Triple H and they say, hey, we're looking to expand, the wrestling business, into Mexico, into Latin America. What companies would be of best value? And well, Triple H, knowing that AEW has a deal with CMLL, he probably said, hey, AAA, Mexico could be a deal. But we don't know. And I remember seeing you guys months ago. Remember when the deal broke that AEW was moving on from AAA and that they were going to be dealing with CMLL in the future?
Yes.
What if... And I said it would happen that WWE would start working with AAA. I said it months ago, and it's happening. So what if Triple H sees that CML, the LL is working with AEW? I think he said, well, AAA might be available, and I think initially it was gonna. And I'd heard rumors that it was initially supposed to be a deal like with what TNA has, but then something changed, and I said, well, why don't we just buy it out?
Which again, it makes sense all around. And I think before I get to the other AAA, I had to put this on the screen just because who would have thought we would have seen this match in 2025 on our bingo card? So Atomic Legacy Wrestling in Florida has booked Shelton Benjamin versus Kenta for their July 27th show. A match you would have not think you would have seen on your bingo card in 2025. A dream match between Kenta and Shelton Benjamin. So with that being said, we'll go on to the other AAA side of things. So just announced, WWE stars Angel and Berto of Los Garza are scheduled for the AAA Triple Mania event on June 15th in Monterrey, Mexico, and here's that video.
Fue porque ya no está con nosotros, es de Monterrey y él es Héctor Garza. En paz descanse, le mando un fuerte abrazo y un beso hasta el cielo. Hoy por hoy creo que es el luchador, el mejor luchador, sin duda alguna, que ha dado Monterrey Nuevo León. Y tuve el honor de ser su amigo por muchos años. Convivimos arriba del ring, como compañeros, también como rivales, precisamente aquí en Monterrey, en la Arena Solidaridad tuvimos una lucha cabelleras contra cabelleras. Posteriormente, pues él se enfermó, pasó a mejor vida, pero sigue la dinastía Garza trabajando, poniendo el nombre de Monterrey Nuevo León en alto. Y hay dos sobrinos de él, Humberto Carrillo y Ángel Garza, que están triunfando en la WWE, y por tal motivo ya también hablé con ellos. Y el próximo 15 de junio, precisamente aquí en este lugar donde estamos haciendo la conferencia de prensa, también están confirmados Ángel y Humberto Carrillo.
So people were like, oh, why is this a big deal? Hector Garza, who was big in Mexico, and they're related to.
That's basically what he said, is that it's pretty much that, they have a history and, with their family too, both, their father and their uncle, and it's a family thing. That's essentially why they're doing it. They want to go down back where their family started, everything that they've done there, and it's just a return home to Monterrey, Mexico.
If you also think about, like, to quote Cody's entrance theme, wrestling has more than one royal family.
Right.
Garza, I'd heard that name, 25, 26 years ago when their uncle, Hector, used to wrestle. I know he was bigger in AAA in Mexico.
He was in TNA too.
I always liked him. I thought he was insanely talented. But he could move pretty well for, a kind of a bigger dude.
Oh, yeah. I think that's one of the most forgotten sons of Lucha Libre, this Hector Garza. People don't give him enough credit as they should, because he was just an exceptional luchador and really paved the way for so many men and women in Mexico. And speaking of paving the way, this young lady certainly is paving the way. Indy Hartwell, who's now signed to TNA, she wrestled Mayu Yamashita. And, well, there's the photo of the week. House of Glory Women's Champion, baby. Oh, my goodness. Paul Morales told me about this, and I'm just like, let's go, Indy Hartwell.
I was shocked. I was honestly shocked. I was the fact that she went in there, and the fact that she won it in the night that she debuted in there, and it was great. It's really, really good for her, to see her. Look how big that belt is. It's almost as big as she is. Good Lord. Right? But I am so fucking happy. Yeah, I am so happy for Indy. Congratulations to you. Hopefully, long live Indy. Long title reign, girl.
I don't know if you guys saw it. You'll have to check it out.
Next stop, TNA Championship.
Oh, absolutely. They asked her if Index, her on-screen romance with Dexter Lumis, was still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she just goes, well, it's complicated. We're both busy, and he got kind of weird, and I love that she's keeping that going. Like she said, initially it was supposed to be a one-time thing, but that the two of them joked about it.
It's an awesome thing. I love this. I love this for her. I love everything that she's doing.
And she's another one of the good ones, the really wonderful, talented people.
No, agreed, man. And I think when you think of someone like that who started in the way with Austin Theory, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, and led to that index marriage, which is still one of the most hilarious segments in the history of NXT. I think from where she's gone, she's grown. Former NXT Women's Champion, and I cannot wait.
We lost it because she got injured.
Yes, unfortunately.
We could look at it this way. This should be the example for every woman that has just been released. You can go out and make a name for yourself in another company and do this.
Yeah.
There's no reason for you to not be able to do this. They're going to go out and make their money. They're going to go out and reinvent themselves, much like Matt Cardona said. You have choices, you have options. He gave them a list, and Shotzi was the first one to say, hey, guess what? I'm going to do number 3. I'm going to go out. I'm going to kick ass and do what I need to do and reinvent myself. And that's what she's going to do.
So before we get to Natalya, let's put this into fruition as well. So we go from GCW, which is going to feature Priscilla Kelly and the former Cora Jade, Elena Black, who's also going to be on that Atomic Wrestling Legacy Wrestling show like we saw there with Kenta and Shelton Benjamin. We got, for the first time ever, at Pro Wrestling Revolver, the men and women, husband and wife. We got Priscilla Kelly against Zachary Wentz. And coming to MLW very, very shortly,
Where exactly is the Melrose Ballroom in New York?
well, you're going to ask the New Yorker that question. It's like
I have to ask the New Yorker that question.
It's like in Queens, like Long Island City, Queens, New York.
That's what I thought. What I thought.
I mean,
my brother actually went to go see a concert there. That's why I was asking.
Nice.
That's why the name sounded familiar.
It's literally the Melrose Ballroom is Long Island City, Queens. So that's the area, pretty much Queens / Long Island City. Yep.
We don't claim Queens, though.
We don't. We don't.
Oh, man.
Oh, they try to separate themselves. Oh, no, we're like New York City. No, you're not. You're Long Island. Shut your punk ass mouth. So we go to Natalya now.
Wow. It's like that.
It's like that. That's what I'm
Queens
saying.
It's almost like a suburb.
Yeah, like fuck you, Queens. Like trying to go, we're more towards the city, bro. And I'm like, no, you're not. Shut your punk ass mouth. So
I'm closer to the city than they are.
Yes, you are.
Western New York.
I know you are, but Queens has to have that exception because they can't accept the fact that they're Long Island. They can't accept it. Just accept it. Just accept it.
Like, can we get someone to do like an
I love
executive
this.
order? Can that be a thing?
Yeah, or can we just say like you're a part of the?
This is like it's funny. It's funny. Here, let me kind of give you this kind of demographic.
Yeah.
It's like you look at where the city of Los Angeles is, as huge as it is. You look at a city like Anaheim, which is in Orange County, which is literally about 30 miles away from LA.
Mhm.
But yet we have a baseball team called the Los Angeles Angels, which originally started playing at the LA Memorial Coliseum when they first started their very first season and a half, believe 2 seasons before their stadium was opened in Anaheim. But still, you got a bunch of like suburbs of like LA, you got East LA, you got Hollywood, you got all these little places, but everybody is still considered LA. As far out as Palmdale, which is literally 70 miles away from LA and still considered LA because it's in Los Angeles County.
Wow.
Make that make sense. Make that make sense.
I always look at it with Queens. It's like you don't need to take the bridge to get to Queens. Like, you're still part of the borough, so shut your ass up. We're not going over the Verrazano Bridge. We're not going over like just shut up. Just again.
Look at everybody. Every place is like is like that. No matter which way you want to go. You look at San Francisco. You got Oakland. You got Vallejo. You got San Jose. You got all those little areas that are around there that are pretty much part of like the part of San Francisco itself, part of the Bay Area.
Cat Tax,
as he is here with us. As speaking of cats, how apropos he
Hey,
comes in.
Mr. Jackson. Ooh, I am for real.
It's perfect he comes into this shot because now we're going to talk about the ultimate cat lady herself, Natalia. So Natalia and Kenzie Page at the Crockett Cup for the NWA Women's World Championship. Natty's
Saturday, baby.
Woo! And Gail,
I'm actually thinking of ordering it.
I'm thinking of ordering it too. It's going to be really good. And you got Gail Kim as the special guest referee now, which, yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Did you? Oh, my God. That picture that is right here, right now, that picture is says a whole lot. I am down to buy this thing just to watch it. And especially, we get the Crockett Cup itself. We get, all these, I believe it's 12 tag teams that are in this field, and narrowing it down to just that one that's basically the Crockett Cup champion. We look at some of the past ones that are that have won it. The Briscoes have won it, so it goes to say a lot what the lineage of the Crockett Cup is for the NWA. I'm just glad to see them thriving the way they are, and shout out to Billy Corgan.
Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkin.
What? Yes.
Still smashing.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that he has not given up on NWA. It's the more wrestling that is out there, the better it is for us, the better it is for talent already in the big game, because, if something doesn't work out in WWE, they can go to AEW or they can go to TNA or wherever. You all remember what it was like when it was just WWE.
Oh, it's brutal.
Oh, yeah.
For talent, you get released and you got to hustle and you got to work multiple dates or multiple shows on a single day in the indies back then. Now you have more options, and that Billy Corgan is still doing it. Which here's to give you, there was a story with Billy Corgan about 5 years ago. He talked about it, and he said, I talked to the ownership of NWA. They had gone to WWE to just buy the name and the belts and all this and all that, and WWE turned it down. They didn't want it. They didn't want, the
Vince
Dome Globe.
McMahon didn't want it.
Right.
Triple H would have taken it.
Yeah,
if it were Triple H would have been like, I'm on it.
And Billy Corgan said, I'm not going to say how much, but I was shocked. And I remember reading Smashing Pumpkins, dude, this guy. But the fact that he's still persevering with this, kudos to him.
I mean,
but he's a lifelong wrestling fan. That's just it.
He's
not just some wet behind the ears kid, who's taking his father's money. And,
Tony Khan. I'll pay you.
Tony Khan.
Tony Khan.
Oh, sorry. I got something in my.
I mean,
Tony Khan.
Well,
yeah,
here's the thing.
Okay, but you go for it. Go for it.
No, I was going to say. Okay, Tony Khan. So we're going to talk about Sabu at the end of the show, but there was that video that came out of Rob Van Dam and Sabu in the ring and little Tony Khan. The difference between Tony Khan and Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan used to go to the ECW shows as well, but he was also still in the music business, putting out records with the Smashing Pumpkins, and he was still prominent in the limelight. And he's like, I'm going to go to Philly. I'm going to go to the ECW arena. I'm going to join me some professional wrestling. And he was such involved and good friends with Paul Heyman in the music industry, and he made a name for himself, while Tony Khan is just, sitting on the yacht with his daddy talking about wrestling. So there's a difference between the acumens of the Billy Corgans and the Tony Khan. And also, if you look at this right here, before I play the promo with Natalia,
I saw a meme, and I'll send it to you guys.
Okay.
Remember when Shad Khan had that one appearance on TV?
Yeah.
That look. That screen capture, and it shows him looking down at Tony and saying, and this is the shit I'm paying for.
You cost me Punkin Cody. You cost me Punkin Cody. That and freaking just that whole thing. And I mean, I look at it like this: when now you got Natty going against Kenzie Page, you got for the first time ever on an NXT PLE Joe Hendry defending the TNA World Heavyweight Championship against Trick Williams, and we could possibly have an NXT superstar win the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. The possibility is endless.
Not only the fact, for the first time ever, another company's world champion competed at WrestleMania.
Yeah, with
for the
Randy.
first time ever, somebody not contracted as a wrestler or celebrity in WWE had a match with one of the absolute greatest of all time. This is huge.
Very much
What
so.
a time!
I mean,
What a time, and what a world we live in.
I mean, even if you push, because I'm going to say this right now, Miles Bourne cut one of the best doggone promos on NXT this week talking about, all right, let's not beat around the bush. I'm deaf. I'm partially deaf. It affects my speech. But you know what? I'm going to be an inspiration for people with disabilities. It's about my ability, not my disability. Boom! Boom!
Yay.
Yay. That was one of the best promos he's cut. And I'm excited for Obafemi and Miles Bourne.
And
I would love to. I'm going to take a bunch of screenshots of like some of the people that retweeted it and their quotes, because you're going to put them here, 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 and here, because it was beautifully said and it hit home with so many people, you know, because they know, yeah, you especially, you too, you know, because a lot of us, you know, have dealt with that, and you know, we have people in our families, and we know people, you know, that we love and we care for who have disabilities, you know, in there. And this is an inspiration to them all.
Yep.
And this was the most beautiful thing.
It touched my heart. I know it touched many of people's hearts. And I mean,
You know,
yeah.
And Miles Bourne, he earned the respect of Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You know, Randy Orton vouched for him, had that killer match on NXT a number of months back. And Randy Orton's even said he doesn't give his approval to very many people, and that he did. So I can't wait to see what he does with the Obafemi match. Got a feeling we're going to see more with Charlie Regal. I mean, Charlie Dempsey.
Charlie Regal. Oh my goodness, I am excited for NXT Battleground next week, as we are excited for Natty and Kenzie Page. And Natty did it again, y'all. She cut this epic promo, and it was fantastic. And here we go.
Kenzie, I am not this. I made this. I built this. I did this to survive. But underneath, there's a part of me that craves violence. The side that loves to leave behind the predictability and the security of my life. You see, I was born fighting, Kenzie. Somewhere along the way, I was domesticated. And that's why my life doesn't fit right now. Some people get fast cars, or drugs, or a piece on the side, just to feel alive. But me, I just need the taste of blood in my mouth. Feeling of bruises underneath my clothes. And the rush of kill or be killed.
Okay.
I don't need to get something else to feel alive, Kenzie. I need to be someone else. someone who is going to come to your house and beat your ass. And smile while doing it.
If you don't come on with yourself, Natty. Oh my goodness.
I need this in WWE, but that goddamn dude. I got chills, dude. I can't wait for Saturday. I honestly
Mr.
cannot
Novak,
wait for Saturday.
give us this Natty. We need it now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Give me heel Natty in WWE.
Like
I do not want her to come out ever again in sequence and all these
Cat
pink
ears.
colors. I want her to come out dark. I want her to come out like this. Specifically like this. I don't want Natalia. I want Natty. Much like I didn't want Bailey to come out, with all the hugger stuff. I'm glad she turned heel. I'm glad she cut her hair short. I'm glad she did all that because that changed our perception of who she was. We thought she was just this one-trick pony. Much like, Irish girl coming out dancing like, the Irish jig.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about. You're gonna put it right here. The little gif of her dancing. But see, I'm specifically what I want is this. We want this. As fans, we want this.
I did like how she addressed it because she was on Raw with Maxine Dupree when Tozawa was challenging Rusev to a match. And Natty pretty much responded, it's like, oh, it's Natty. He goes, no, that's Natalia. Natty, you'll see it in WA. And I'm like, okay. So with that being said, we did see a lot of things. Before we get to the very sad news of the week at the end of the show here, we did have a pay-per-view with a PLE. It was Backlash, and someone you have to give credit to. Let's just put it out there. Let's put it to the forefront. God damn it, Pat McAfee. Oh my God, Gunther and Pat McAfee. His chest, the eye vessel in his blood, the blood vessel in his eye. Jesus, the chops, everything. It was brutal. Michael Cole pulled a Bobby Heenan, Rick Rude WrestleMania 5 by grabbing his leg. Michael Cole almost got powerbombed. The boots.
I was waiting for him to throw one of these up in there. I was waiting for him to grab a towel and be like, I'm done. I don't want no more. I was waiting for him to do something like that, but he didn't. He let him do it.
Michael Cole cut the promo of the century. I'm gonna be biased. I'm gonna be rooting for Pat, pretty much saying F Gunther. And these two had a hell of a match. And everybody, I want y'all to apologize right now for like, it was just a commentator, man, and it's the announcer. It's a joke of a match. That match was booked perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh, God, it was so good. I
hated the people that were saying, oh, it was that, that the highlight of the night wasn't or the joke of the PLE was Gunther was Pat McAfee. I'm like, what the fuck were you watching?
He got Gunther's respect at the end, and these people gave him a standing O at the end of the flipping match.
But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, what the fuck were you watching that you're over here critiquing it like as if it was the worst thing on the damn pay-per-view?
This isn't the
when
days
it wasn't.
This isn't the days of Jerry Lawler versus Taz on ECW One Night Stand 06 or Jerry Lawler wrestling like Gregory Helms or Muhammad Hassan. This is Pat McAfee, who's younger than Jerry Lawler and all of that, and who's just ready to kick ass and take names.
And let's not forget the fact that Pat McAfee
is an athlete.
Exactly. He's still in incredible shape. He's a former pro football player like the late, great Steve Mongo McMichael.
Yep. And the weird thing is like this could be the most amazing thing. Like people should understand everything that Pat went through. Pat endured everything that Gunther had. The redness of his chest, the blood shot in his eye, that should tell you everything. That should tell you exactly who Pat McAfee is and what lengths he's willing to go to specifically for the entertainment of the people.
That's the thing too, and I mean, and I even equated to we'll even talk about Becky and Lyra. That match was incredible, and then Becky beats her up at the end. Oh, and she cut the and she cuts the Eminem promo on Raw, talk about I am whatever you say I am, which was fantastic. But the thing too is this is what Mercedes Moné should be doing in AEW. Like what she did for Lyra Valkyria was amazing. She gave her best, and then Lyra won at the end. This amplifies Lyra Valkyria to the T right now with her run here on the main roster. Like it was great. They told a great story, man.
And they still continue to tell a great story.
Coach.
They also did wonderfully. It got people talking about the women's IC title again.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm talking about.
And I mean, let's talk about the debut. So it's Jacob Fatu, it's LA Knight, it's Solo Sikoa, it's Damian Priest, it's Drew McIntyre. First of all, Drew McIntyre, you crazy son of a bitch, taking that south of heaven through that on that table. His head hit the concrete.
I knew as soon as he landed, I'm like, wow, he went too far.
Yep.
And sure enough, he went too far. And I mean, he smacked his head, and I'm glad that he's okay, but man,
yep,
that looked horrendous.
And then you got LA Knight going for the elbow, and then here's Solo pulling Jacob off, and then who comes out of the crowd? Jeff Cobb is the backup plan for Solo Sikoa, another one of his soldiers, and Jacob Fatu retains the United States title. I was happy to see Jeff Cobb. I really am.
Right here, you're going to get Denise Salcedo's reaction because that was priceless. She was just like, oh my God, it's
Jeff Cobb, dear God, let's go, Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb's a meaty motherfucker, and we love Jeff Cobb. Jeff Cobb's cool. He's a cool dude.
And then to me, it was one of those cool moments, you know. And I get it. Jacob was like, "Oh my God, like why are you here? Like oh my God, like," and just like staring at him, like he's here to help us. He's here to help us. Freaking Solo. Oh my God, I'm just happy that he's there. My thing is why hasn't Hikuleo freaking debuted? I mean, he's been there. I mean, I don't know if he's recovering from something. I don't know if they don't know where to put him. But God dang.
Supposedly they don't want him in NXT. They want to make sure that he's fully ready to the main roster and that he's going right there immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, you could even give a shout out to Dominic and Penta for the. Like I said, this whole card was solid. Dominic and Penta did the thing. It furthers Finn and Dominic as we get towards that route, and also El Grande.
I'm digging that storyline.
Me too. And El Grande Americano, that damn El Grande, cost Penta the match. And they did the whole thing with Penta beat Chad, so they're pretty much saying now that Chad is a loser, but when he puts on the El Grande Americano mask, he's a winner. So they're starting that up where Chad can kind of transform into more of El Grande Americano, who's the current speed champion because he beat Chad, which is hilarious. And I'm enjoying what they're doing there because Dominic and Finn is going to really deliver once we get probably towards the SummerSlam side. But we got to talk about that main event. Because I saw it. I saw the discourse. People like, oh, this was like Vince McMahon booking towards the end of Okay. John Cena and Randy Orton had this was way better than Cody at WrestleMania. This match was way better than Cody. The false finishes.
I will say, yes.
Yes. The false finishes. Fucking everybody took an RKO. Nick Aldis took an RKO. And for those that want to know who the second guy was, that was Drake Maverick, who took the RKO. Shane Helms
took one.
Yes. Shane Helms put out the Danny Glover gif. I'm getting too old for this shit, which was hilarious. Shane Helms took one. Jamie Noble took one.
Davari took one.
Sean Davari.
Shout out to Davari for taking that one. And then, oh my God, Jamie Noble. He was like a fish, dude. Boom.
Yep. And he was just looking like, oh, I guess it's my turn now. And then he took an RKO. It was
like a lamb to slaughter.
Like, oh shit, my turn. Like
it's like screw it, I may as well get this over with.
Yeah, and I mean the AA through the table, the announce table that didn't break, it told a good story. And then everybody complained. Wait, what? I'm sorry.
Well, the worst part is that you get so many fans that are now I know they're not WWE fans, because specifically it's probably the IWC and then probably AEW fans that were doing this, because specifically what they were talking about was the ending.
Yes.
And how is it that you can get a low blow, and how it all ended. We'll just say specifically how it all ended. But if you look at it, it's an AEW ending.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say that it's taking shots at AEW, but it was literally like an AEW ending, and I laughed. I had to laugh.
Hurricane.
I literally, it was the dumbest thing, but yet it made sense. It made sense. Now I can tell you what was really even more crazy is what happened after the show went off the air.
So that damn R-Truth helping out his hero.
Yeah, but we'll talk about the R-Truth thing in a second. The fans in St. Louis thanked John Cena, and you could see him tearing up.
Like he was crying.
Yeah, and he was legit crying because no shoot, no work, just them being fans and loving him. Showing him love. It's the last time he's going to be there.
And there is no doubt that John Cena is arguably one of the absolute greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
I remember an interview with Kenny Omega where Kenny even said, "John, I wish I'd had the opportunity." And well, you said, Paul, you can tell Cena was visibly shaken, like knowing that. I think it's starting to hit him now. Like, hey, I don't have many dates left, and if anyone has earned this, it's him. I do think. This whole thing is booked properly. I don't think he's going to finish his career out as a heel, though. I think he's going to turn at some point.
I'm going to say probably more towards SummerSlam or in the fall before the December cut.
They did add. The odd thing is that they did add one more date to his thing, which is the night after Money in the Bank.
Yeah,
so they added one more date. So I don't know what's going to happen from here, but
I love
whatever
that
does happen, it's
and I love the last. Cool. It is, and I love the last appearance is going to be in Boston, which is hometown, and I think that's really a proper send out. Now, so that damn R-Truth, Randy Orton RKO's R-Truth, which leads to the finish, but then John Cena's at the damn presser, and he's like, "All right, I'm gonna be better. I'm gonna do." And then R-Truth's like, "Man, John, I knew you could do it. I love you, man." R-Truth is just like, "You're still my hero, even though people say that you suck and you can't wrestle." And he goes, "Ron, there's going to be repercussions for your action. You crossed the line." And he's like, "I'm just saying." And then John Cena literally AA's R-Truth right through the table, says no more questions, walks out. That poor R-Truth. I'm going to tell you right now, if we get John Cena versus R-Truth for the title, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with
Saturday night's main event.
There you go.
When it is apparently that's what's going to happen is we're getting John Cena versus R-Truth is facing his childhood hero, John Cena, at Saturday night's main event. Which is going to be hilarious.
I know it's not going to happen, but can you imagine the reaction? R-Truth hits Cena with the AA. Ref counts 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
And
I wouldn't be mad.
I would
not
love it.
I would not be mad at all.
I would not be mad. Not at all. Give R-Truth his just dues. Give R-Truth what he has so wanted for a long time, to be a world champion in WWE.
Even if it's like one night.
Don't give me the capital punishment finish with the soda getting flicked in his face and then the AA 1, 2, 3. Don't do that again. Just don't do that again. Good God. Oh, that was such a bad finish. So, speaking of finishes, before we get to the late, great Sabu, AZM pins Mina Shirakawa in a triple threat with Mercedes Moné to become your new NJPW Strong Women's Champion. The title was previously held by Willow Nightingale, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and Mercedes Moné. And a certain someone messaged me over here saying someone needs to check on Mercedes. So here was the aftermath of this match.
Mercedes Moné looks absolutely distraught.
Somebody needs to check out
That
Mercedes.
gear is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
Coming out like Spider-Woman.
Spider-Woman.
Like, I get they're divorced, but can she call her ex up and be like, "Hey, can you just make my gear for me again?"
Oh my goodness gracious!
I'll pay you.
I'll pay you. Mercedes
Call
is down.
Bianca Belair. She'll do it for you.
Yes. So Mercedes is down a title, and unfortunately, we are
Also, pick another back up.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are down to another member of the professional wrestling community. Professional wrestling lineage is gone. The suicidal, homicidal, genocidal, death-defying Sabu passed away on Mother's Day at the age of 60, 2 days before what we just saw last night, the Dark Side of the Ring, talking about the Sheik, which was his last documentary that he was on. And I mean, of course, he wrestled Joey Janela for GCW in his retirement match. A lot has come out about that, but before even we say anything, God rest his soul, Sabu with the matches Eddie's had with Cactus Jack, the team with RVD, the Rey Mysterio match at One Night Stand 06, the rest of the match with John Cena,
WCW run.
the WCW run with Mr. JL, Jerry Lynn.
The first Sabu match that I ever remember seeing, I believe it was a Halloween Havoc. Maybe I feel like that was the show.
The one where Sheik broke his leg.
I think that was it, but it was Sabu versus Mr. JL, who was Jerry Lynn. They had an amazing match. And I remember just seeing this guy, and it's just like, this guy looks crazy.
I think
He was.
And I mean, I think what also kind of got me is like Taz even getting choked up, like the history with Taz. Like, it was rough. But yeah, no, I agree with you. Like the first time I ever saw him was the Mick Foley stuff, of course, the Terry Funk barbed wire match, which Born to Be Wired. Oh my God.
And which that match, there was a DVD a number of years back. And one of the things Paul said on it was, after witnessing what happened there, that is the reason why I never booked another barbed wire match, and even though I had people asking.
I mean, he made the right call.
I mean, you can go back. He's a two-time ECW champion. Give him his accolades. List them all out. But at the end of the day, what's amazing about what is so amazing about Sabu is his longevity.
Yeah.
The fact that he's lasted literally 30 plus years in the business.
Right.
And wrestled many of the guys that are Hall of Famers, and no matter what promotion you want to look at, I mean, they're RVD, Tommy Dreamer, Sandman, Taz, John Cena, who is ending his career this year, wrestled John Cena, and the man has defied the odds for everything that he's done in that ring, all the death-defying things that he's done, homicidal, suicidal, genocidal. That man is an innovator amongst himself.
I mean, one of my
it's certified.
Yeah, I mean, as I get even tongue-tied talking about this because of just how good that man was. Much like y'all, like one of my favorite matches was him and Abyss. The first ever barbed wire massacre match in TNA was absolutely nuts. You could even go back to, I remember him and Samoa Joe at Lockdown from 2007, the Monsters Ball matches with him, Raven, the few that they had in TNA, Jeff Hardy and Abyss.
That was another guy I was going to think about right now too. That popped in my head was Raven.
it's so sad because he was just one that was just so you could say what you want about him and like super glue in his wounds and not doing stuff like that, but he was an innovator. I mean, Daniel's talked about it. You've sent the match. You've seen the match. We've all seen it. Him and the original Sheik and Onita, the flaming ring and FMW. Like, my God. Just, yeah.
He's just but the thing, aside from the wrestling aspect, like, dude is just a genuine person.
Oh yeah,
like, he's so nice and for all the people who had posted on social media, I'll say everywhere on social media that we're talking about the times that they've met him at events, or times that they met him at shows, or even just met him on outside of wrestling. They've said so many wonderful things, so many amazing things about him, and God bless that man. I understand that people are shitting on GCW, for having him in that match, but he wanted to do it. You didn't have to twist his arm. You didn't have to force him or anything. No. It was something that he wanted to do, and he won his final match.
Oh, yeah. So, unfortunately, the other part of this is the GCW thing. So, the article came out just weeks before his death this past weekend. ECW legend Sabu wrestled Joey Janela in a hardcore match at Janela's annual WrestleMania week event for Game Changer Wrestling. In the days following the match, Janela did an interview with Paul Schneider of Yahoo Sports and Crown that was published May 12th, one day after Sabu died. The interview in particular, Janela's description of Sabu in the hours leading up to and during their no-roped barbed wire match at Spring Break, which he says was embellished as he was trying to add to the lore and unpredictability of Sabu, has led to increased scrutiny of the decision to book and go forward with the match. It's also led to new statements from both Janela and GCW owner and booker Brett Lauderdale. In this interview, Janela recounts how the match almost didn't happen due to Sabu's condition in Las Vegas prior to the show. I was fairly confident that he was fine. I was kept in contact with him, and he has a team of people around him, guys, this time. They were all saying he was ready to go, that he was going to the gym, that he was on a training program. I believed them until the day of the show. Then 2 hours before I get a call, Sabu can't walk. What do you mean Sabu can't walk? They said, yeah, Sabu's something with his knee. They're locked up. He can't walk, and his feet are bleeding. He's not coming. Sabu's not coming. I said, Sabu, fuck. So we talked to indie wrestler Matt Tremont, and Tremont is about to be the replacement for the match. And I feel like this is going to be the most embarrassing moment of my wrestling career. There's 2,000 people here. This is one of the biggest spring breaks ever, the biggest Crowd Mania weekend, indie-wise, and I'm going to have to go out there and announce that Sabu once again no-showed his own retirement match. Janelle then explained that Sabu's team gave him Kratom, a controversial herbal medicine that it advocates maintain has a variety of uses, including helping ease withdrawal from opioids, but that critics warn hasn't been researched or regulated enough for safe use. We are an hour into the show, and I said, just get Sabu here. So they gave him something called Kratom. You can buy it at a smoke shop or something. It's like a legal opiate or something. They said he's hopping on the bed. He's hopping off the bed, and we're going to get him to the show. So he shows up 2 hours into the show. Sabu was on a different fucking planet. Everyone in the backstage was like, what the fuck? Is this match going to happen? And my God, did it happen. One particularly controversial spot in the match was Sabu whipped headfirst into a barbed wire board and crashed to the floor, which prompted numerous officials to check on him while action continued in the match between Janela and others. Joey's account of that moment is what he now explains was an exaggeration meant to inflate the legend of Sabu. He was definitely out cold. He was done. They were telling me there was no way. The refs are communicating to me that there's no way he's continuing this match. Like, holy shit, that is the one time you want the barbed wire to stop you. He just blew right through it, and then old ECW rival, the Sandman, came out, and that was all Sabu needed. Then the resurrection happened. Jesus resurrected 2 days later, the anniversary. Couldn't fucking believe it, dude. He was ready to go again. I guess that concussion knocked him back into 1996 or something. I don't know. And then responding to critics after publication, Joey Janela would say, we didn't give him Kratom. His team did. It's also not illegal, and 85% of a professional wrestlers do it, especially the ones on TV. So fuck you. I'm truly devastated over this, and this whole deal was really affecting me. Kratom is something Sabu took daily for years. It helped him get off other substances. Sabu loved his weed, and Kratom, his body, was wrecked doing what he loved for 40 years. And before we even get to that, and we get to Brett Lauderdale's comments, what are your thoughts on learning this about the whole thing with the match?
Just feel kind of dirty. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think, Paul?
It's, it's all after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it happened. Yeah, it wasn't anybody else's decision. If Sabu was ready to go and Sabu was willing to do it, He's a legend. Are you going to tell him no?
Exactly. And I mean, this was Brett Lauderdale's comments. Any suggestion that I or GCW or Joey Janela forced him to do this match, supplied him with substances, or somehow caused his death is irresponsible, disingenuous, hurtful, and false. It's upsetting and discouraging to see people so eager to cast judgment without knowledge of the facts. I would never knowingly put someone who I believe is a danger to themselves or others in the ring, and my track record shows this to be true. I have pulled people in a public and painful manner from big matches before, sometimes literal moments before a match was to begin, and would do it again if I had to. I spoke to Sabu moments before the match, and he was Sabu. He was the same Sabu I had encountered in years past when I participated in his matches as a referee and later as a promoter. He was the same Sabu I met with the following day at WrestleCon, and the same Sabu that made multiple appearances on podcasts and at conventions in the weeks that followed. So that was the whole GCW situation. But I will say,
like I said, everything after the fact, it just doesn't matter. You know, he's gone.
But I look at it like a
and the decisions were his. He made the choice.
And I think when you think of choices, one of the best choices is to watch a Sabu match and watch his career, because the man put on great bouts and great moments and memories, which is what it's about. So rest in peace to the late, great Sabu. And wow, that was a lot to take in from everything that encountered with the events and the passing of a true legend in hardcore modern wrestling. So guys, that completes this edition of the weekly review. We will be back very, very soon. We have double predictions coming up for AEW's Double or Nothing and NXT Battleground pay-per-views, PLEs, which are on the same day, nonetheless, during Memorial Day weekend. And yeah, so before we close this out in happier times, it's always a pleasure, gentlemen. So Paul Morales, where can we follow you on the social medias?
Of course, you can find me, the Dead Man of RWT, right there. Yeah, right there. All my socials will be down below. You can follow me on my on my Twitter account, in which case you go up to my profile. My link tree is right there, which would also be down below. But of course, you can find me everywhere on all social media. And Daniel Crimmins, my brother from another mother. Where can we find you?
You can find me
and not Pornhub either.
Nah, retired. You can find me on Instagram. Mike's going to put the link below. I got some new stuff coming. You're just going to have to sit tight.
Okay. Well, links will be in the description for all that goodness. If you want to follow this channel, it's S&M Network shows. Check out the weekly review. Check out Uncaged. Check out Deep Into the Heart of Wrestling. Check out the Pop Culture History Podcast, the Steve and Mike Show, the LFC Podcast, and all your audio goodnesses, as well as on the Mic with Mike. You can follow me at SM Show1 or MCL on Twitter. Instagram is MLarkinMB or Larkin_92. LFCfights.com, SteveandMikeShow.com. We appreciate your support. We appreciate your love. We appreciate everybody that tunes into this fine show. And even if you give us a like, comment, subscribe, we appreciate it. But we do this. We love professional wrestling, and we love the great people, much like Sabu, God rest his soul once more, that have given us so many moments and memories. So for Paul Morales, for Daniel Crimmins, my name is Mike Larkin. We will see you in the next weekly review. And, well, rest in peace.
You.
We'll pay you. And rest in peace, Sabu.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up.
The past is gone. Now is the future.